Have you ever gotten the feeling that there's a system running just beneath the surface of everything? A whole other set of rules for law and commerce that nobody ever taught you in school? Well, today, we're cracking open a worldview that claims exactly that. It's the idea of a hidden reality, one governed by contracts you never even knew you signed.
And according to the source material we're looking at, this quote from The Matrix, it's not just a cool line from a movie. It's the perfect metaphor. It really gets to the heart of the core belief here, that the systems we live in, everything from our legal identity to our money, are not what they appear to be. It's all a construct, a prison for your mind.
So let's start by stepping inside this prison for your mind. We're going to unpack the core beliefs of this worldview, and these are ideas that completely redefine things we take for granted, like what it means to be a citizen, what law is, and maybe strangest of all, what your own name represents.
All right, the absolute cornerstone of this whole belief system, the key that unlocks everything else, is the idea that the government isn't what you think it is. The claim is that it's actually a private corporation.
Now, for the people who believe this isn't some wild theory. They see it as a fact that's just hidden in plain sight. They'll point you directly to legal codes, like this one right here, 28 U.S.C. Section 30002, which literally defines the United States as a federal corporation. For them, it's not an interpretation. It's right there in black and white.
So how did this happen? Well, according to the belief, this corporate takeover went down in 3 major steps. It all supposedly started back in 1871, when the original republic was replaced with a corporation. Fast forward to 1913, you get the Federal Reserve Act, which is seen as handing over the entire nation's money supply. And then the final blow, in 1933, when the U.S. allegedly declared bankruptcy and used its own citizens as collateral for the debt.
Okay, so if the government is a corporation, and all of its interactions are commercial, how does it do business with you, a living, breathing person? The answer, in this worldview, is that it doesn't. It does business with your corporate double, the Strawman.
And this is the absolute crux of it. The idea is that your name, when it's written in all capital letters, on your driver's license, your social security card, your bills, that's not actually you. It's a separate legal entity, a corporate fiction that the state created specifically to engage in commerce.
So you see, this creates this kind of split identity. On one side, you have the living person, the flesh and blood man or woman, who is seen as sovereign, as the true creditor. But on the other side, you've got the straw man, in all caps. That's the legal fiction, the debtor, the one that gets all the fines and taxes. And the living person? You're considered the surety, basically the guarantor, who's on the hook for all the debts of your corporate double without even knowing it.
So where does this straw man even come from? The belief pinpoints the birth certificate. It's seen as way more than just a record of your birth. In this view, it's a commercial instrument. It's even described as a warehouse receipt for your body that creates the straw man and essentially pledges your future work to the corporate state's creditors. And that social security number, that's the straw man's bank account, not yours.
Okay, so we've got the problem, a corporate government, and we've got the mechanism, the straw man. So now let's look at what's considered to be the master rule book that governs this whole hidden commercial world. And that rule book is the Uniform Commercial Code, or the UCC. Now, in this worldview, the UCC isn't just for businesses. It's seen as the supreme law of the land. Why? Because everything is seen as commerce. A traffic ticket, a court case, a mortgage, it's all commerce. And so the belief is the UCC governs it all.
And here's the logical leap that's so important to understand. The thinking goes, if the entire system operates under this specific rulebook, the UCC, then the solution, the so-called remedy, it must be found inside that very same rulebook. You can use the system's own rules against it to find your way out.
Which brings us to our final section, the redemption process. This is the set of steps laid out in these documents that are presented as the way to reclaim your sovereignty and, well, escape the system.
And the ultimate objective is really simple, at least in theory. It's all about flipping your status in the world of commerce. The whole process is designed to take you from being the unwitting debtor and surety and turn you into the sovereign creditor, the one who actually holds the power and the primary claim.
So how's it done? Here are the basic steps. First, you create a private contract, a security agreement between you, the living person, and your straw man. Then, you file what's called a UCC-1 financing statement. This is basically a public notice that tells the world you have a superior claim over the straw man and all its assets. Once that's done, you are now, according to this process, recognized as the secured party creditor, and you effectively have legal control over that all-caps legal fiction. So, let's just do a quick recap of the core pillars we've walked through. 1. The U.S. government is a private corporation. 2. Your name in all caps is a legal fiction, a strawman that acts as the debtor. 3. Your birth certificate is the instrument that creates it. 4. All law is really commercial law, and it's all governed by the UCC. And finally, 5. The redemption process is the proposed method for using the UCC to flip the script and become the creditor.
And that pretty much brings us to the end, and it leaves us with this final thought. This entire worldview is built on a very particular interpretation of legal codes and historical documents. It really makes you wonder, in a world that's already governed by these incredibly complex systems of law and finance, where exactly is the line between a hidden code that can be cracked and a belief system that needs to be understood?